Hey everybody, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another video. This is going to be just a video of me ranking all of the Friday the 13th Ultimate figures I own. I think I own about all of them at this point. And I do have the NES version, which I'm not going to be including because I haven't taken it out. I don't plan on taking it out as a birthday present from my good friends, Connor and Carrie. Thank you guys so much for this great gift. But I have 9 figures here. All of them look incredible, of course. There's something to like about all of these, and over the years I think that they get better and better, of course, so it may be a little unfair to, if I rank something older lower on the list, as time goes on, sculpts and paint and amount of accessories included improve and whatnot. So this whole list is just going to be completely subjective to me. This is not any kind of personal attack if something low on the list is a figure you really like. That's just the whole point of subjectivity. I have to make that distinction there because sometimes people take it a little too personal. These are great figures. Love them all around. Some things are just stronger in other figures than others. The criteria I'm going off here is mostly paint, detail, sculpting, articulation, as well as amount of accessories included, as well as, do you really need this Jason over this one? Or is it cool enough? Is it better than other versions and whatnot? But, again, pretty subjective. So we're going to start off with number 9. We have 9 figures here, so we're going to start with the lowest. So I have to say my least favorite Jason right now, at least, is going to be the Freddy vs. Jason version. Not a horrible figure. In fact, it's really cool. It has probably the most height out of all of them, but some of the least amount of accessories. I know that's accurate to how the film was done and whatnot. He didn't really use that much in that film, but that still is a bit of a bummer. But the biggest thing for me, I know that certain people's figures are going to be more stiff and some are going to be more looser. I just feel like the way that this is sculpted, which is an accurate sculpt, just because of that, it's a bit hindered, definitely in the arms and knees. Bending it is not the most fun, and it's pretty stiff on my figure particularly. There really isn't much else to gripe about. I just feel like it doesn't come with enough to really justify the $30 price point. I mean, it's a very well sculpted and detailed figure, but I just feel like earlier and later figures were done better. Number 8, second to lowest spot, is going to be the Part 5 Dream sequence. Spoiler alert, the Part 4 version is going to be much higher on the list, don't worry. But I just feel like this figure is just not entirely necessary. It's only a little bit higher on the list above the Freddy vs. Jason version because it does come with a few more accessories, and I don't really have any hindered articulation, even though, single joint elbows isn't the greatest for a Jason. A lot of them do have that. But it just comes with a lot of stuff that they had to kind of justify giving it a $30 price point. Like this mask here, it's cool that he comes with it, but he never wore it. It was never used in the movie. But, I mean, that's just not really that big of a complaint. Mostly my problem with it is, again, it's not really necessary. It's the exact same figure that you get with the Part 4 version, but the Part 4 version comes with more stuff. The biggest difference here is that it just looks like a wet figure because it was raining in that 2-minute opening. So again, that's why it's a little bit lower on the list. It's just not really needed. At the number 7 spot, I'm going to put the Part 6 Jason, which is actually my favorite installment of the franchise, and this particular figure is my first Jason figure actually. So it still has a special place in my heart. I still think it's a good figure. The thing is, I also think it's a bit lackluster with some of the accessories and some of the paint. Mostly in the blood and the pants, I don't think it looks very good, and on the shirt too, I don't think it looks all that amazing either. I'm not really a big fan of how they did the spike, the gate spike accessory. It's kind of hard to keep together and do two-handed poses with. It looks a little awkward when he's holding it. I mean, the rest of the accessories that it comes with are pretty good. It's just there's not that much. The unmasked head is really good, even though I don't really like the, sculpted blacked out eyes. I wish there were actual eye holes so you could see his eyes, but that's not really that big of a complaint. I still really like this figure, but as time has gone on, a lot of other Jasons have come out and I think have been executed better. At number 6 is going to be the Part 3 Jason. Yes, I know. It's the first time We got Jason in this iconic look, and it's one of the first actual Ultimate figures because I remember that they made the more articulated Jasons before they started committing to the Ultimate line, which I never found those actually. When I did, they were too expensive. They released this exact figure, I think, a couple times. I don't really remember exactly how they did it, but the Ultimate version came with pretty much everything you needed. So that's a good thing about it. It comes with a lot of accessories. The problem I have with it is some of the paint is a little lacking, kind of like the Part 6 version. The blood here isn't that bad, mostly on the shirt. It's not great. But the dirt on the pants is a little lackluster too. It just looks like they put it in a couple spots. Didn't really put it properly throughout in certain areas. Didn't really make it look all that natural. It just looks very hand painted. And this has been like this since I've owned it. And I swear it's over the years, I don't think it's been this way because I don't really touch this figure that much. The legs were always not fun to pose around. Super loose, like the knees were really hard to move, and so were the feet. But the hips were just not great. So it's not for me the funnest to pose, but it does come with a lot of stuff. And those alternate heads are pretty sick. Number 5 is actually going to be the remake version. Now, in case you needed to know, this is not my ranking of the actual movies. It's the figures, of course. I'm not really that big of a fan of the remake. I don't think it's horrible compared to other remakes, but I still prefer a lot of the originals and whatnot. But this thing is very cool. It is a really awesome interpretation of Jason in that movie, and they did it really well in figure form here. Lots of great details in the pants, mostly. It doesn't really come with a ton of accessories. It comes with everything you need basically from the movie. All of them do. But the unique weapons as well as the alternate head, the articulation could be a little bit better, but is still pretty solid. And the overall paint and sculpt on this is very decent. That's why I put it up a little bit higher on the list, because it's just really good looking. And I actually have a lot of fun posing around whenever I get to it. At number 4 is going to be Roy Burns. This may be an upset for people. Some of you may be thinking, what the hell are you thinking? Depending on your thoughts on Part 5. Me personally, I think it's one of the weakest in the series. However, this figure is really unexpectedly awesome when I got it and originally reviewed it and deleted a bunch of my videos and whatnot. The amount of accessories alone is some of the most you get with any Jason I've ever seen. And they did a really good job on the alternate sculpt underneath when you remove the mask for Roy Burns. The jumpsuit is done really well. You do get some nice blood and great details and sculpting going on. And not just the jumpsuit, but pretty much everywhere else throughout the figure. The only complaint is that I think the paint on the skin tone of the hands, some parts of the neck and face too, are a little weird. They just don't look that great, but they're good enough to pass. And it's just really good. And the extra articulation, mostly in the elbows, does help with doing better poses. Number 3, I'm putting the Part 2 Jason. I really like this look overall. That may not be super fair to say because I like the look. It's not necessarily about the figure. But one thing that I do like about the figure is just the amount of detail going on. I think they did a great job with the checkered flannel shirt, as well as the accessories that he comes with, the detail on the sack hat, or the sack mask, excuse me. The detailing on the dirt of the pants and boots and whatnot are great. The blood on the hands could look a little better, but not horrible. It comes with a lot of stuff, a lot of great accessories that have blood on them. It comes with a campfire that has a lit fire piece that you can put on and off, and a severed Pamela Voorhees head. Like, what more can you ask for? That is just really awesome. It's just a little hindered in the articulation. I feel like there's also some looseness in my exact figure, mostly in the hips. That's kind of a common thing with some of these figures, sadly. But it's just a very awesome offering. At number 2 is going to be the Part 4 version. Now, it kind of spoils, pretty much does spoil what number 1 is going to be, and that doesn't include if we get any announcements of new Jasons in the future, if that's even going to happen. This video will probably have to be updated, but yeah, I know I put the Part 5 dream sequence so low on the list, but again, the reason why is because we have this figure already. This thing is awesome, man. It just looks great. It's a very nice, classic looking Jason that you need for your shelf. If you don't want to bother with a Part 3 version, which to me just doesn't look all that great, this one definitely, I think, looks much better, and they weren't really that, far apart when it comes to release dates and whatnot. The amount of accessories that this figure comes with, as well as the blood on the accessories, is awesome. The alternate heads, so you can recreate the final scene with the machete sliding down his face, is awesome. It's just a very awesome figure overall. With, I mean, a little bit of lackluster articulation, but the paint, detail, and sculpting, and again, amount of accessories makes up for it. And at number 1, it's going to be the Part 7 Jason, which this may be an upset for people because, yes, it's a bit of recency bias. This figure quite literally just came out. It's not super fair to put this so high up the list when it's had all this time to improve upon the previous figures. However, it's my list, damn it. But seriously, I really do like this figure a lot more than I thought I was going to. I mean, I thought I was going to like it, but not as much as I do. Great articulation where it's needed. The knees might be a little bit hindered because there's some plastic, soft plastic that's kind of covering the joints, but not really that big of a deal. Absolutely fantastic sculpting. Accessories are incredibly awesome, especially with the alternate hands. Some of the previous ones have alternate hands as well, but you know, Zombie Jason here, I can't help it. Looks really, really freaking good. And that real metal chain around his neck does help as well. It's just an incredibly fun figure. And this whole month since I've had it, I've really had a hard time putting it down. And I have a feeling it's going to be like that for a while longer. Again, unless we have some newer stuff coming out eventually. I have no idea by this point. But that is pretty much it for my rankings. It's, again, subjective, y'all. Just please don't roast me in the comments too much. But all of these figures have great things about them, some more than others. But NECA has done an incredibly awesome job throughout the years with the Friday the 13th license, and I hope they are able to continue to do so because these figures are fantastic. I cannot see anyone else making figures like these besides maybe Mezco. Todd McFarlane, please stay away. I'm sorry, man. You seem like a nice guy, but I don't want you touching him. That's pretty much it for this video here. Thank you guys very much for watching. Let me know what your favorites or least favorites of NECA Jason figures are down in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I will see you guys later.